That's right, Virtual World has had enough of your meta shenanigans. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. The Spain National Breakdown here. Now, I'll be in truth, honest with you. The only reason why I'm looking at this event is because somehow Virtual World was able to overcome this top cut, which, you know what? It says something about the meta at some points. So you had your most represented deck in top cut was actually 5 Tenpai dragons. That's a lot of dragons to be dealing with for the going second madness. We also had 3 Snake Eyes out here as well. Interesting. Now, the one-of department. We had the 1 Fire King. We also had 1 Virtual World. And then we had a Melodious player in Top Cut. I'm actually surprised to see the Melodious doesn't perform better out here, because YCSND was a great showcasing of, you know, we can see Melodious kind of turn over, do some interesting innovations. We also had a tier player in Top Cut. You gotta love the random RNG mill that deck has going for it. And then we have another stun player. I don't know what it's been out of these countries, but stun has been doing relatively well across the board. And I must say, it's been really cool to see stun be one of these decks that, you know, is performing relatively well. Now, we also have a Drytron deck. Now, I do not have the list for Drytron, as nothing as of filming this was really made public for that. So, a real shame. I would have loved to have seen what kind of innovations that, you know, Drytron brings to the table as a top 16 finisher. We also had Cash Tier. Yeah, mid-range control options, always going to be something. And, of course, the Rika Pile, the plant combo deck, had a fantastic showing here as well. Honestly, I like this. Let's pass on over those deck lists. So, winning our event is Skill Drain. Actually, from what I've read from people, a lot of the success for this deck was strictly based on Skill Drain's involvement in the format. And I know that I want to take anything away from the winner, but, you know, if people are looking at this and they're like, well, the success rate was based on this, yeah, it can happen. Honestly, though, the fact we're not doing any of the Mayakashi shenanigans is actually pretty cool. It definitely is refreshing to see that you can do other things with this deck and get away with it. You don't have to be locked into the same mindset of, you know, Beatrice Turbo. No, you can use the skill drain stuff, navigate all of these guys underneath it. And, you know, obviously Crystal Wing Go is pretty good. Also, the walking, talking macro vacuum that this card is in certain matchups is incredibly free. Outside of that, good stuff to Virtual World. I'm very, very happy to see they managed to do very well. All right, what else we got back here? Woo, we have a Melodious finish up here. So, surprise, surprise, Melodious actually placed really well in this top cut. As long as you can overcome a lot of the BS that resides in the midsection of the meta, I think you can do very, very well. And that's very telling, especially when you're looking at something like this. Poor Tam Tam being forced into the side deck. I wish we could see Polly sticking around more as an innovation piece, but most of the builds, you don't even want to waste the dedicated slot to this. And then, of course, yes, the one trap trick, and being able to turbo on out into the Threatening Roar or the Dimensional Barrier. Basically, you'll board in the 5, and then, you know, depending on what you need to see in the matchup, you can trap trick, beaming out the second copy. This deck just needs to be able to get the game back to its turn, which it should be able to relatively easily. It's not like this deck has an incredibly terrible time at doing that, especially with the free Bounce 9000 machine. This card is so stupid doing what it needs to do. All right. We have Tier for you. We actually get the chance to see a lot of the good one-up decks here actually performing and doing well. And hey, look, Tier is playing card destruction now. I will say that this is a very, very nice thing to see. You know, not like, you know, the French nationals out here where you have to deal with the one Dark World player in the room. Now, the one Tier player in the room gets a chance to generate the free advantage. 2 Trivi Karma is a little bit risque, in my opinion, but okay. We do have the 1 Black Goat Laughs. I've seen a lot more people trying out this card. Still doing the triple copies of the Tearlaments Scream. This build's packing in 2 Grief as well. We're citing the Heartbeat. Nothing wrong with that. Outside of that, a very interesting teched out build. Much different than what we're used to seeing. You do see the Horus package in here. still being an absolute hold for this deck, because, you know, turboing into the zombie vampire to get those mills to kind of get your deck going, because that's what you've been forced into playing these days. Alright, we also have Gas, Tenpai Dragons. What in the world are you doing here? So, this build is playing Destrudo, and they're also playing the Shiranui Squire Saga. What in the heck does this do? 1 tuner plus a non-tuner. You can only special summon a Shiranui Squire Saga once per turn, and then once per turn, banish a face-up monster you control or in your graveyard to apply these effects in sequence based on before it was banished, and if any. So if you banish a zombie, you can have all of your monsters gain 300 attack. A fire, you can destroy 1 spell on trap card on the field, and a synchro, you can destroy 1 monster on the field. Alright, so that's actually pretty interesting that you have access to a synchro here that gets you a pop and a spell on trap removal. And that's actually a free once per turn. So, just for what, like having Destrudo free in your deck? Also, it is another level 7 as well. So, maybe this is worth thinking about as an option. Alright, what else we got cooking back here? We have the power of anti-meta stun with some going second cards built into this. This wasn't on my bingo sheet to see evenly matched showing up in stun decks, but I guess stun does have such a terrible time going second that you need to be able to find something to clutch onto to be able to play the game, and at least evenly matched is here to kind of give you that option so you can do that. And of course, we're actually playing firecrackers for time. That's freaking hilarious. I mean, this can also close out a game if need be. That free 1,000 damage is pretty good. We also have the Santa Claus for defensive options, and I see that we also have Grave of the Super Ancient Organism as a 2-of. I will say that this card, against a lot of the meta, has been very, very strong. Really messes up good old Kashtira. We're actually even playing Imperial Iron Walls, too. Huh, okay. What else we got cooking back here? Woo, more Tenpai Dragons. Somebody here is playing Raigeki in the main deck. Okay. I also see we are playing a Sky Striker package in here. I didn't ever think about playing a Sky Striker package in this, but to be fair, you're kind of doing the same stuff that Zoo was doing back in the day, where you're trying to have your monsters be able to, you know, have some very strong options for you. And of course, the utility options you get off of the Sky Striker stuff is all kind of free. Also, I mean, free Hornet drones, get some recyclability going here. I kind of want to play this build. I don't know if, you know, truly stripping away some of the more niche options, like, is worth it, but, you know, having this package still present to kind of OTK, and then having 4 Sky Striker links, if you need to slow down and, you know, do some Widow Anchor plays, you can actually do that. That's kind of cool. Alright, we also have some Rika pile for you here. Now, let's call it what it is. The plant pile's still going to be, what, 50, 60 cards all day long for a lot of these builds. You kind of got to make some decisions on which path you want to go down in terms of the plant good stuff. There's nothing wrong with, you know, in terms of your deck building out here, when you've got to decide, hey, you know, what are we going to incorporate? Since we are doing the Hero Mage stuff in here, you do see the Human Winds actually being an option. This package doesn't really get too huge. Obviously, you know, Magnolia, and of course, you know, the free Jasmines that you get in here. Your extra deck is extremely tight because all of these options are the things you go through. If your opponent finds a way to break your board, then you're going to be in a horrible, horrible spot. But that doesn't mean that it has to be that way. I just find it interesting that, you know, we have one evenly in the main. In case you're playing 16, you actually see it. But, hey, innovations, tech choices. And then lastly here, we have another Tenpai Dragon Gas Turbo for you here. We have the triple Fenrir built on into the deck here to get that free advantage for you. You have the droplets for the board breakers, and of course, double lightning storms for cleanup, aisle 9. And of course, standard filtering options as per usual. Still playing the one Kawaki Drago, still love this card. And we are citing the crossout designator, so when we do need to board this in because we're getting hand trapped out of our mind, we can very easily do so. That wraps up your Nationals, and I love what I am seeing here. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.